Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be doing a really quick backtesting session before I leave. So I'm going to start off with the default balance, the triad as our assets. I've already set up the main layout, and now give me a completely random fresh date between 2021 and 2024, let's say. Didn't we get this date last time? I feel like this was the exact same date, 2022. I don't think longer. Okay, May 17th. I feel like September 14th was the exact same date that we got last time. I'm gonna have to check, but so once again, May 17th, 2022. May 17th. I feel like it gave the exact same answer. That's wild. I think it's not really random. I guess it's more deterministic. So let me see. So the customs. Okay, so let's go to the New York session. So what do we see from the daily? Let's mark out our levels. So we had this low, came into it, and now we are reacting quite nicely off of it. I would want to see at least this high, which is paired with the current day's high, and maybe this inside of this fair value gap. What do we see on ES? ES is stronger, and no, it's not. So it's pretty much hunting the same high from May 9th. And what is YM doing? YM is also stronger, and it has already taken this high. So YM is our leading asset. So let's see on the 7-hour how do we perform. We just open up straight from 1800. So pretty much I want to see continuations this day. 4-hour, pretty nice, but given that we had 3 expansion hours, 4 hours straight one after the other, I may want to wait for 10 a.m. in case we open up a fair value gap, we drop back inside of it, and then we continue because we have just been so expensive. And for now, given that about 3.5 hours have passed for this particular 4-hour candle, this might just be the consolidation or retracement, and then the next 4 hour just dips back inside this gap, and then we continue up. This looks quite good on the 15. What do we have on the hourly? C2 on the hourly. That's nice. So we have a C2 and not really a continuation yet. So I want to see what we do coming into this 9:30. I'm gonna wait for the first 5 minutes. So first 5 minutes, we see a nice reaction from this gap. Overall, looks like NQ switched strength with the other assets, and we don't have SMT here, but we have with this low. This is quite a large stop loss, and I don't think I can get to our up to this low. Yeah, this high. Yeah, no shot. So I'm gonna wait for the continuation, and I want to see how YM reacts once it took out this low. Not really a conclusive reaction. Damn, I would have gotten stopped out. So pretty good that I didn't take that trade. I'm gonna wait for 10. So maybe we get SMT fill with one of the assets. So we wait. So now NQ dipped back inside that gap, while YM didn't, and neither did ES. So if we are switching So if I see NQ violate this gap, I'm gonna look to trade the other assets. And YM got back inside of its gap as well. So I'm just waiting right now. I think I'm gonna be waiting for this to close. Not really a good closure. We ideally want to take out the previous candles low and start seeing expansion right away, and we do not. So this day, yeah, I should be looking for shorts, given that this 4-hour candle does not support expansion to the upside. We have already made the wick. Then we're trending downwards. This is a C2 on the 4-hour. And this is just straight up expansion. So yeah, I was looking bullish. We left these highs, but look at all of this low resistance liquidity. But wouldn't this be, yeah, this would be like a 3% drop. I'm gonna wait to see if we can get a 30 or maybe 15-minute. Let's see how we react here. How far? Yeah, we're pretty down. I'm gonna wait for a 30 to be more conclusive. The other assets have not yet violated, especially ES. ES didn't even fully fill that gap, so I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait for something. I don't like this profile. Yeah, we got our retracement. We are inside of 50%, and we are reacting quite nicely. We inverted this gap. Ideally, I think I would trade ES because this was the overall strongest. But because we have this long wick, I want to wait for the next 6-hour candle to open up, and maybe then we'll catch a trade. So 6-hour opening up. We have a kind of nice 11 o'clock candle. Oh, we have a speech. I should be wary of that. So do we have anything here? We have a gap. If we get SMT fill inside the gap, and we don't, all of the assets take the gap. But if you get a nice reaction out of it, maybe we can take something. All of the assets are pretty much doing the same thing. 5. So just basing it off this previous hourly candle, we had the CISD here. We could take this with our stop here. We took out short-term liquidity inside of a gap, inside of another inversion gap. Do we have any? We have a small IFG here and another one below. So I'm gonna wait for the close. So yeah, we didn't close above it. YM did though. We finally closed above it. How do we? Yeah, this looks nice though. This low should be protected if we are going up. Low made inside of a POI. So this is our gap. 15-minute we had AC2. Was it really conclusive? Not really. But we have the CSD, and overall we're pretty close to closing that 30-minute candle, and we have the CSD present. We have another interesting gap formed here with a nice reaction out of it. So I'm gonna take this trade with my stop on these lows, even though they're equal lows. We expanded quite a lot from them. I would want to see price come back down, sweep those, and go to the upside. So we even have a nice 2-hour trade right before the highs. So let's take a trade here. Where would I want to be break even? I think I'm just gonna wait for another order block to be formed. So let's see. So right now I'm just gonna trade to break even. I'm gonna let the trade run. Another closure above this would be welcome. We are consolidating a bit too much and we are coming close to the Powell speech, so I might get taken out once Powell starts speaking. Whoop. Did we get lucky? And no, we didn't. Yeah, pretty unfortunate. Stopped break even here. Overall, I feel like this was a pretty nice trade, but the only caveat was that Powell was speaking. So let's see, do we get up and take those highs? Yeah, we do. So overall, good narrative, good identification of the higher time frame order flow and drawn liquidity. So let's move on to the next day. So the next day, we can see that, whoa, we have quite a large retracement back into the previous candle's range. So we are pretty much bang on at 50%. Do you have anything higher time frame? Not really. What day is this? This is a Wednesday. So yeah, I'll have to drop time frames. Nothing on the 7-hour. We're just dropping from the open. 6-hour, nothing again. 4, we are inside of the gap formed from yesterday on all of the assets. 1 hour, nothing really. We just seem to be dropping a lot. And we have been quite expensive from the 6 o'clock. I think I'm just gonna wait for the new 4-hour candle to open. I would want to see price go up. Where's that tool? Pin path. So I want to see price go into 50% of this area and maybe make a shift here, and then we move lower, something like this maybe, to target these equal lows. And we had quite a lot of low resistance liquidity generated from yesterday. So let's see. Yeah, pretty wiki. I'm not sure if I want to entertain any of this. I'm gonna wait for the new 10 o'clock candle to open. Had a nice 15-minute candle closure here with this gap here. 5-minute, nothing. 3-minute. 3-minute actually looks decent. So, but the question is, do you really want to go short after taking out this sell side liquidity pool and being down about 300 points on the day? Probably not, and that is why. So I'm gonna wait for the next candle to open up. So all of the assets violated their respective 4-hour gaps. So I'm now looking bearish. I'm looking down. I want to see some sell side liquidity get taken. And overall, I feel like NQ is the closest one to, yeah, kind of, yeah, to these lows here. So I want to see at least a 30-minute maybe. Or yeah, let's see the 15. So we open up inside this gap. We have SMT between consecutive candles. We have SMT fail. I want to see something conclusive. because right now we're just chopping around. I don't like the fact that we took out this low and closed, had that reaction closing back inside. We have quite a nice wick. Oh, this was a ideal candle 2 closure. So I want to get involved with this. Maybe we'll see a 5-minute gap rebalance. So let's see. Okay, like this. So nice. We have this inversion gap here. Okay, that is nice. We have this ideal closure, order block. We came back inside of it. All of the assets were retracing, and pretty much all of them started going back to the downside. And I feel like I should put my stop maybe to this candle's high to cover all of this provide gap. So we are just dropping. We have made this next 4-hour candles wick. 30-minute, we have a immediate rebalance. On the 15, we had this. Do we have even S&T? Yeah, so we have S&T like this inside of a gap with a nice ideal C2 closure, taking out the previous candle's high and closing back below it. So it engulfs that candle. And then we're trading this 1045 candle that potentially its wick has been formed, and my stop is covering this breaker block as well as 50% of this order block, and it is overall above this gap. So I feel pretty safe with my stop. If we are going down, I wouldn't expect price to come all the way up here and then dump. The final target would be here, so I'm going to take a 2.5 risk to reward trade. So let's send this. And as for our entry, all of the assets started going down. We have a CISD on YM. We have this inversion gap on NQ, and ES is also starting to go down. So let's see how we do. It's nice that we closed back below this sequence. So I'm expecting to just flush now. Do we have anything to trail our stop to? Maybe once either of the assets takes that low, I'm gonna go. Okay, yeah, never mind. So this was not a traditional trade in that sense. It was more so recognizing the conditions we are in and the fact that price really didn't want to go up whatsoever, and just basing it off of the 4-hour candle. How we open up, have we made that wick? What did we do in the previous candle? And overall, what is our draw on liquidity? Because just basing it off the previous day, I would have expected us to continue to be bullish up until this high. But when we drop timeframes, we have seen that Asia and London were both really expensive to the downside, making no retracements at all. We had nothing here. We only had this order block, but we didn't have a gap. So our drawn liquidity became this low from Monday. And we have seen that I'm gonna be back. Just let me grab some water because my throat is going. Okay, I'm back. We're rolling. So yeah, so as I said, we had this really expensive 6 o'clock 4-hour candle. I really wasn't expecting any retracements or reversals in the next candle because we were just so expensive. And probably I should have just looked for entries here, but we didn't have anything. This was an ideal C2 closure. So what is an ideal C2 closure? It is when this candle that engulfs, we here just have only one candle as the up close candle, but here, let's say this candle took out the previous candle high and then closed like this. So we have a sequence now. We have two candles. This would have been an ideal C2 closure because we took out liquidity and then closed below all of the up close candles in that sequence. So now, as we have only one candle, we took out its high inside of a fair value gap and then we closed below it. So this really becomes the ideal setup where we have the order block being respected right away and confirmed. So I was dropping timeframes to see how I can get involved with this. And should I've got involved here? I was too close to this low, but this could have also been an entry like this with your stop, maybe to the body. I wouldn't want to see price come back to that. So you would have gotten a 2R out of this. But I waited and I've seen we had this really nice big fair value gap open on NQ. This was a nice retracement. And then I've seen that here, all of the assets were simultaneously going down. YM was CISDing, so we have that change in state of delivery, and NQ was violating this fair value gap. So everything was pretty much lining up for us to continue our bearish trend. And my entry was just on this invalidation of this bullish gap. So IFEG entry, and I put my stop to this candle's high that made the fair value gap. If we were to go up to here, I wouldn't entertain any more bearishness because we shouldn't have deep retracements if we are just expanding. And from there, not really anywhere I could have trailed my stop. This was just a full call. And yeah, let's go to the next session. So next day, I'm going to remove all of my drawings. Wow. A 6% drop. Yeah, that is really something. So overall, yeah, I'm pretty much bearish. I want to see this low get taken on NQ. Did we take that out on? Yes. 855, 856. So perfect equal lows on ES. NYM had already taken them out. So YM is the overall strongest. I don't like this. Could we just dump and take these lows out? Yeah. But I am pretty wary of this gap and the fact that, yeah, we have S&T fail, but I don't really know. You see, this candle does not support expansion to the downside, maybe just to its opening price. And neither does this candle. So I'm probably just better off waiting for 10 a.m. And yeah, we're just coming up. I'm going to wait for 10. So 10 is coming up now. And we kind of have these equal highs made. 979, 978. So pretty much equal. Just basing it off the previous candle, I feel like YM should be our candidate for lower prices. I want to see where YM could potentially go. So we have this low here and maybe this daily low. So we have two targets for YM. Yeah, we have a C2 on YM. The other assets are much more bullish. Maybe ideally I would want to see NQ. Where is that? So I'm gonna put this here. So maybe we see NQ just make a shallow run, takes out this, and then something like this, maybe for NQ. Because this candle does not support reversal. It is more of a indecisive candle, given that it showed some kind of willingness to reverse, but it didn't take out this high, and we have this gap present here. ES kind of reacted from this gap, and YM is the overall weakest asset reacting from this gap and closing as a C2. So yeah, I'm looking to be bearish. On YM we have quite a nice signature here. We may see 10 a.m. just bump these highs into this fair value gap, and then we see the drop. But I'm willing to wait. Yeah. Okay. We inverse this gap, but I want to see. So NQ took out that. Let's look at the hourly again. So NQ took out that high. YM is respecting 50%. ES is more so doing the same. 15-minute, pretty large wick. I would want to see some displacement. If we can close below this gap, that would be nice. Yeah, I don't like this. We are just consolidating, probably because this was such a large range day. And yeah, I'm not looking to trade back into what? The EQ of this range. Because right now, this doesn't support expansion. Look at how long this wick would have been on YM. Maybe if we see NQ just switch strengths, and then we can trade YM. I have to see something, because right now I'm not really sure. I didn't like that we had this much of a retracement back. We closed below this, but do I want to take this is the question. The other assets look like they're going down. Here we go inside this gap. 0850, 0925. So this is technically valid. NQ got back inside of this gap. YM respected the previous candle's high. So we have SMT here. Have SMT fail like this with YM. So we have SMT fail. We have a two-stage inside of a gap. So technically everything is lining up. We don't have a gap on the 5-minute, but on the 3 we do. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take this. This technically respects everything. We have a two-stage. We have the reversal confirmed once and then twice, closing back below this. So I'm gonna hunt to our trade here, something like this, on YM, which was the overall weakest asset. So let's see. If we go back below these lows, I'll have to trail my stop. I would like to see them flush now. I don't like the fact that NQ took this high again. Yeah, not really high probability. Yeah, we're consolidating. This is pretty much going to be a loss, I think. Yeah. I shouldn't have taken this, even though overall, is this a valid loss? I kind of think it is. I mean, we had a two-stage inside of a gap, and NQ was showing some kind of willingness to go down, but in the end, YM just synchronized with the other assets and started moving up. Yep. Unfortunate. Let's go to the next New York session. I'm going to remove the drawings once again. So daily, we are inside of this gap. So if we react nicely off of this, we may see NQ go take out these lows. What do we see on YM? Pretty much the same thing, but YM is weaker. And the same thing on ES. 7 hour, we are looking bullish. I want to see us take out the London high and then maybe seek a move lower. So I'm gonna play price and see what the opening range move does. So let's see it on the 15. So on the 15, what do we see? We take out the London lows, and we had a pretty strong reaction out of that. Overall, looks like ES and YM are both the stronger assets. We have quite a nice low resistance above us. So let me see on the lower time frame, see if we have anything. So we have a CISD here. We have a inversion gap. I'm gonna drop to the 1 minute, and if we have a 1 minute signature to go long off of, and we don't. We have this large retracement, so we're consolidating. And 10 o'clock has just opened up. And I don't see anything. We're just stuck inside of this consolidation. I want to see at least this hourly candle close, because I'm not convinced yet that we are simply gonna dump. Okay. Now I can maybe seek a continuation. I don't know what is happening on that 30 minutes. So ideally I could seek a continuation now on either assets if we get a retrace into a gap. And looks like we're just gonna dump to the target or not. What is this? 11:30. Yeah. We have SMT fail with YM. And I think YM has already taken all of these lows out. So what I'm trading right now will be the lagging asset with a strength switch present to get us back to these lows that YM had already taken. So I'm going to drop to the 3 minute, and I'm going to see if we can find an entry here. So 45. So I'm going to enter here positionally in the next 15-minute candle with my stop on this SMT high. And I cannot get my risk to reward. So I'll put it like this, and once we cross this low, I'm gonna go break even. So we are respecting that inversion gap pretty nicely. Okay, now I'm getting break even and nice trade. So what was the idea behind this? So coming into the day, I've seen that we respected this gap and we were trading lower, but I ideally wanted to see this candle get taken again because we didn't have any framework to go short off of. We only had expansion candles. So I waited for this 10 a.m. candle to open up and give me something. And you can see that this was just super expensive to the downside. I didn't trust this 9 o'clock candle because we took out the sell side and we closed pretty aggressively back inside this range. And after this really expensive 10 o'clock candle, I waited on the 11 o'clock candle to give me something, and that something came here at 11:30, where you can see that YM had already taken out its respective lows from yesterday, while NQ was lagging behind not only to this low but to these lows from Thursday. And what do we see? So this was the leading asset to the downside. Yep. And once the leading asset took out its strong liquidity, we can trade the lagging asset if there's a strength switch present. And what is that? Here we had an SMT fill. So we have this high at 11 o'clock. And you can see that we have opened up a fair value gap. And we have this fair value gap present on NQ as well. And what do we see? We see YM stab inside of this fair value gap while NQ didn't. That is our strength switch. So now I'm going to be dropping to the lower time frames to see if I can catch anything. And we have this really nice inversion gap here, like this on the 5 and as well on the 3. So pretty much I entered positionally at 45. So this was here. So at 11:45, I entered positionally with my stop on that SMT high, expecting that to hold because we also have the inversion present. And I was going to go break even once we took out the drawn liquidity that I mentioned. And I held to R, given that this was just a 0.92 trade, if that was the case, to trade that just to the oil. So yeah, we start consolidating, and yeah, we even drop more. I'm really curious to see where tomorrow is gonna go. So let's go to the next day, which would be Monday. So Monday, oh, we had quite a severe reaction. Damn, that's a nice reaction. So what do we see? We took out this low. And reacted quite nicely off of it. A nice C2 closure. We could ideally seek to trade back into this high and for Tuesday to take that high out and continue to the downside. That could be the case. YM is actually even more bullish. So we have a PSP present and ONES as well, but I favor YM. I feel like it is the better asset to trade. We already have that CISD on the 7-hour. 4-hour, we are inside of this gap. Here, we already have the C2 on YM, and we are starting to trade higher. My target on YM would be this, and then CE of this 4-hour gap. Yeah, I would want to trade YM, but let's see 9:30 if we get anything. This is a nice sweep, and we have SMT with YM. I'm gonna drop time frames. So looks like NQ is continuously being the weaker asset. Okay, this is a nice switch in strength. Do we have anything on the 3? So we have this CISD on the 3, pretty spotty price action, a lot of wicks present, but judging it just based off of this 15-minute, we have quite a large SMT, but the main SMT is with this low. So I think that the target is pretty clear, but I don't know if I can get involved in this. We don't have the CISD on the 15 on YM. So overall, NQ looks like it's pushing faster to the upside. I think I just have to wait for the next candle. Yeah, drawn liquidity is taken. So I'm simply gonna be waiting to see if we can catch anything else. So a nice move back down inside of this fair value gap, inside of this breaker and order block. And because we disrespect that, and it's now 10 a.m., we have SMT. So we have a two-stage here, two-stage SMT like this. So we have between these two highs, or no, we don't have between those. So only like this. and a PSP. So we're still looking bearish. We have this gap, and ideally I would want to see CE of it get traded too, but I don't know. I'm pretty conflicted right now. Overall, the bias, just basing it off of the 7-hour candles, is looking like a New York continuation to the downside on NQ and a New York reversal on YM after digging inside of this 4-hour gap. So I'm gonna be hunting sell positions now. I would like to be in shorts. So I want to see if we can get back inside of this gap or any gap for that matter. Okay, we are back inside of this gap. What do we see on the 15? So, or on the 30? Oh, this is a nice reaction. From the 5, can we get something like this? Oh, that's kind of a large stop loss. 2R would be here. So the idea behind this trade is that we are getting back inside of this gap. Let me delete some of those. So the idea, we have SMT at the highs, right? We have SMT. Then on the higher time frames, we even have a PSP. So we have a 2-stage. I'm looking to be bearish. We are inside of this order block, and on the 5, we have a gap. On the 3, we also have a gap. So, and on the 1, we can see that 15 just opened higher, and then in the very next candle, closed below this candle. So this is a ideal C3 closure, given that we didn't take out the previous candle's high, but on both ES and YM, we have an ideal C2 closure. But I don't really feel safe with my stop just to this high, even though the risk to reward would just be amazing. So I'm going to put my stop to this candle's high, which pretty much covers this BPR and 50% of the order block. So that is going to be the trade here. So let's see. We got to CE of this candle. And I don't like the fact that we consolidated. I would have much rather seen immediate push to the downside because, yeah, right now, yeah, unfortunate. Just getting stopped out here. And I'm willing to trade it one more time if I see a reaction from YM. What do we look like on the 4-hour? YM looks like it has already made its wick. ES looks like it's going up as well. 1 hour. Yeah, it looks like we have made the low of the 4-hour candle by dropping inside of this gap. So I would want to seek longs now, given that my short idea was quickly invalidated. ES still has highs to go up to. YM is the highest one in the range, but we don't have a strength switch. So I'm going to be waiting a bit. I'm going to be waiting till 11 to see how we react. So this right here is 11. We have a PSP, but I want to see some sort of strength switch. Otherwise, we can just trade YM to the CE of that 4-hour. Do I trust this as my stop loss? Where would that be? Here. So let's put it with red. That is inside of a gap. We have CISD. I'm gonna wait. I want to see a retracement back inside of a gap or something, and we don't get it. Could I have gotten E2R out of this? Nah. Maybe if I entered right at, yeah, this would have been a trade, something like this. Yeah, unlucky. We didn't get a strength switch that I wanted to see. So unless we get a strength switch, we are simply gonna trade the stronger asset to the upside. So yeah, pretty unfortunate. Yeah, I got offside here, and I probably just could have traded at 11 o'clock here, given that we had that CISD here. We didn't have it on the 3 minute, but we had it on the 1, I think. Yeah, on the 1 we had it. Really small gap. Yeah, that could have been a good entry. Yeah, should have taken this in hindsight. So I'm gonna go to the next session, and I think this is gonna be the last session, to be honest, because I have to go. I'm kind of pressed by time. So what is this? Is a contract? No, it's not a contract switch. So we have a super big gap between yesterday's close and today's open. Do we have news? Powell's speech at 12. Ugh. So what do we see? YM, yeah, as we said yesterday, it was the strongest asset overall. It's deeply inside of this gap, while on the other assets, only on ES were we above CE of the previous gap, while NQ remained pretty bearish. Let's look on the 7. So 7, yeah, we had just a huge gap. This is a C2 following this short-term liquidity getting taken. 4 hour, pretty serious reversal candle. We had that wick formed. Do we have a CSD? Yeah, we do. And we even do here. Wow. Yeah, I don't like trading like this, but this would be a positional entry, something like this. Given that the continuation confirmation just comes right before 9:30, but I don't like entering 9:30 because we could just go up, sweep all of this, and then go lower. Yeah, looks like we're just gonna dump. This was a nice invalidation point. Unless we get something, let me see on the daily. We have this low that we want to trade to. We're just so bearish. Yeah, there's nothing here. Do we have a hourly gap? Yeah, we could technically see this gap fill. This would be my target for the day on NQ. So I just want to stick to NQ for now. I want to see some kind of retracement or something to get involved with. Maybe on the 15. No, we're just dumping. Nothing. So nothing at all. And we have this entry here, but I don't like the fact that we dropped so much that I want to see a 30-minute gap. And Powell is speaking at 12, so I don't know. I'm gonna let Powell speak, and then we'll see the next 4-hour candle what we do. So Powell is speaking right now, and we're getting close to that 2 o'clock. We have quite a nice reversal following that fully fill of the hourly gap. We have CISD on YM, which is good. Do we have that on 15? Yeah, we do. We also have a new invalidation point. So I want to see if we can get some kind of setup going here. I like this. We have SMT fill. Do we have a gap? Yeah, we do. Oh no, I fast forwarded just a little bit too much. On the 5? Yeah. What is our target? Maybe this fill here. We're close to all of these highs, and I don't like that. But I don't want to trade the lagging asset unless we have that strength switch. I think I'll just let this go. I'm not sure. Because we are so close to all of these highs, and I can pretty much go break even once we cross this. Let's see if that makes sense. So where would 2R be? Oh, even above these highs. I'm gonna take this as our final entry, and I'm gonna be break even once we cross this high. So I'm gonna be just break even now and stop that break even. Do we get an entry back up? Inversion. CISD 15. This is quite nice actually. But yeah, I'm not gonna take this, even though yeah, would have gonna stopped out. It's pretty close to, yeah, well, yeah. I think this is gonna be it, guys. Let me see. So we have only taken 6 trades, 2 break evens, 50% win rate overall. Yeah, could have been better. Some trades I feel like could have been avoided, but for such a short backtesting session, and I feel pretty rushed. Given that we are green, I feel like this is a good overall session. These days were pretty weird. We had enormous days and we had large gaps days. But overall, I think this was a good training session. Not really something ideal, but it is a good stepping stone in the right direction. So if you enjoyed these types of backtesting sessions and want to see more of them, let me know by dropping a like on this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.